typewriters.
Cool.
This electric typewriter, and I don't know if you've ever seen one. They were very advanced because all the letters were on a little ball.
What?
Yeah, and it was on a little ball in the machine, and we had phones that were in the wall.
Okay.
So you could only walk 2 or 3 feet away from your wall. So
sounds great for privacy.
Yes. So Auntie Sylvia and I had a code, MIR, Mother in Room. So if we immediately had to switch the conversation, we could do it. And then, of course, one night, and Sylvia and I still laugh about this story, is that, you listen to the radio. There was not tape stuff.
Okay, you were on the radio.
We listened to the radio, and, there was a contest, and if you were the first one to call in or the 20th to call in or whatever it was, you won whatever. I don't even remember what we were trying to win, but I was dialing the phone number with O's instead of zeros. And we called in for hours until we realized that I was dialing O's.
Wrong number.
I told you I was on cutting edge. I had one of the very first cell phones when they were the size of a brick, and it hooked into your phone, into your car. You couldn't,
Yeah, modern technology usage. We're talking about
right.
Facebook.
So yes, I use Facebook, even though only old people use Facebook, according to my interviewer. What else do I use? I have my iPhone.
You do.
I do everything on a computer. I have my iPad.
Right.
I've really gone from, in my office, I have these huge filing cabinets in my office that are sitting empty because nobody uses paper anymore, whereas my whole life was on paper previously.
What was technology like when you were a child or whatever?
Well, it was just telephones.
Okay.
There was no other way.
You had a TV.
There was a television, yes, that did not, you had to go get up.
This makes fun for me. I remember when televisions were first color.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're so old.
When we
Right.
were kids.
Yeah, we had black and white TV. That's right. I'll tell you this is a funny story, but you had to get up and change the channel. There was
There's no remote.
no sitting on the couch the whole time. So we had the very first Atari Pong game, which played on the TV, and you had these little paddles. I don't remember how you did it, but the only thing that happened was, it was like, the ball hit from here to here across the net. Yeah. We did have that when I was growing up. We had to go to the library to do research. Yeah. So if we had to write a paper... If we had to write a paper about something, we would have to go to the library and look in the encyclopedia to find out the information.
Yeah.
It was super disgusting.
What about your technology use in the modern age?
Well, I use all the technologies.
All of the technologies.
In the modern age.
Yeah.
I don't use all the apps.
Okay.
I'm not in favor of a lot of the apps, but I do use the cell phone as a major communication tool. I do use a computer at work.
I would certainly hope so.
I do read on the computer books, although I still do prefer to read a book that I'm holding in my hand, but I will read a book on the computer. I use the camera on the phone for a camera. I do text primarily when I'm communicating with people.
That's because you use your phone all the time.
Right. I mean, you walk around with your phone in your hand 24 hours a day. Obviously not when you're sleeping,
That's
but
because your child won't speak to you with words. That's why you have to text all the time.
I cradle my phone in my arms when I'm sleeping, actually.
I
so
have been
that.
known to text my child in the next room to ask her questions.
I can't imagine who you couldn't. I mean, or you could just shout at me. Honestly,
I could
Let's
in this
just
house.
say that last night on our way to dinner, Mother said to me, "I have forgotten my phone. Don't text me." And I'm sitting next to her in the car, and I said, "All right, we will have to rely on the spoken word tonight." That is a true story.
So you do Facebook and stuff.
I'm on, yes, like I said, I don't like all the apps. I will do Facebook, although I'm not enthralled with it. I am, and not because of the privacy issue to a certain extent. I just don't like it that there's always people, the euphemistic people that know where you are, what you're doing.
I'd like the record to show that she's making several quotes with her little fingers and such.
When she's saying people.
People, yeah.
Right. Because I don't mean specific people, just people in general.
People in general, but I don't think euphemistic was the right word in that instance, but I think that's
What you're saying is Edward Snowden knows where you are.
Edward Snowden.
This project made me consider the incredibly rapid development of technology over time, because back in my parents' day there was just nothing. You just suffered and you looked at books or whatever, but now you can just Google stuff, which I think is pretty neat. I'm pro Googling, even though I think... One thing I actually learned recently is that back in the old days, the way that things were stored was that if you ordered all copies of something to be destroyed, you could just do it, because everything was a physical copy, and you could set it on fire. But nowadays, you can't do that. You can't set the whole internet on fire. And even then, people have flash drives and stuff, but now we have... Instead of giant filing cabinets, people have, computers with tiny little storage thingies that store things. And one of the things that I think I cut out, but my mom has talked to me about, is that when she was younger, she was legal assistant, and so what they would do in the back of some of the law offices is they would just have files and files and files upon case law stuff, and her job was just to go out and get it for them. And now that isn't a job anymore because people have computers. And so I think that's really interesting that it's really beneficial for them to have all of that information so readily. But on the other hand, there isn't a job anymore. I guess you just have to be a sucky assistant or a secretary or whatever. But that's a lot of work. I mean, everything's a lot of work. Jobs are work.